I'm Christeena.
And you're watching
Game of Tomes.
Today we're going to be talking about
Memoirs of a Geisha
by Arthur Golden.
So we have a spoiler-free review. We will link it below.
Sure.
And so, you know, if you haven't read this, go watch the spoiler-free review because we're going to do a spoilery discussion about it now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning.
yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Okay, thanks. She's poor. She lives in a little tipsy house, and her mama's gonna die.
Yeah, it was a little heartbreaking for me.
She had, what did she think she had? Cancer or something?
I want to say they think she had cancer.
Yeah. And her dad was old.
Yeah, and a fisherman.
Yeah.
And it just, I think like the first heartbreak in this book for me was when like she had her hopes up that he was gonna adopt her, Mr.
Yes.
Tanaka,
Mm-hmm.
and then she found out that like that wasn't what was happening because she was like playing with her, his daughter.
Yeah.
And they were like, she's like, wow, you know, like I'm gonna have a sister. I mean, she had Satsu, but
she was kind of a not that nice.
No, and
Kind of dull.
her father, he didn't even like say bye to them or anything.
No.
He just sat there. But I got the feeling that like he was just really ashamed.
Yeah.
But he knew that like he wouldn't be able to take care of his daughters.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to have known, right? Like
Where she was going? I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. She meets with, she goes over to Mr. Tanaka's house, and then she gets looked at by that one crazy woman.
Yeah, that
And,
was
like,
really uncomfortable.
And then, like, she checks to see if, like, they're still virgins or
Yeah.
whatever, and I was like, that made us nervous. I remember
Yeah,
Nicole
yeah.
saying, like,
I hope it's not like this, you know, throughout the
yeah.
whole book.
And then they get on the train, and then they get separated.
I didn't expect them to get separated.
I didn't either.
And I also thought that like Satsu was honestly gonna go like be a maid because they kept talking about the maids walking on the streets and how elegant they looked and stuff. And then she ends up being thrown into the prostitution area of Gaion, and I was like,
why even?
that was really sad.
Yeah.
I really didn't like that. But she ran away.
She did run away. But poor Chiyo had to break her arm to not run away. And then I was like, she's ruined everything. And I figured, okay, let's talk about Hatsumomo for a second. When she drops him off.
Oh my gosh.
We hate Hatsumomo so much.
So much.
Dang you, Hatsumomo.
Okay, and see, like, when she first got there and Hatsumomo was there, like, even from the get-go, her attitude, I was like, oh no. But the lengths to which she went to ruin Chiyo's geisha life, like...
All because she was pretty and had those eyes.
That's exactly it. She
Yeah.
was just jealous because she was pretty, just like she was jealous of Mameha and made Chiyo ruin her kimono.
Yeah.
The worst was when, like, mother or auntie, one of them told Chiyo, do not trust her, no matter what.
Even if she's trying to help you.
Even if she's trying to help you.
Yeah.
And she gave her money, and Chiyo was like, but I honestly believe that she wanted me out of Gaion in any way. So then, like, with the money, and then she went to mother, and auntie was like, oh, she stole my brooch, you know, and sold it, and blah, blah, blah. And I was so angry, you guys.
Yeah.
So angry.
And it was like throughout the whole book, I didn't think I could hate Hatsumomo anymore. And then she would do something, and it was like, dang it, Hatsumomo.
Yeah. But as far as she goes, she got what was coming to her in the end. So I did kind of feel bad. As much as I hated Hatsumomo, I did feel kind of bad when Mameha and Sayuri Chiyo was following her around, just because I remember like the feeling of her following Chiyo around and like the dread of, I would know as soon as she was like, heard the door roll open, I'm like, it's her, I know it. And
yeah, and so that's why I was, I did feel a little bad. But also it was like, she's done what she deserves.
Yeah. And then when she slapped the guy.
Oh, and bit him?
And when she
went kind of crazy?
Yeah, I was like, girl. And then she got kicked out, and then supposedly she was a prostitute, but they couldn't find her or something. And anyway,
alcoholism, maybe.
Yeah, which, I mean, come on, who didn't see that coming from a mile away? Like, but, yeah, she was just an awful person. And it's also because of her, Pumpkin and Chiyo never had really a friendship, and they were trying to when they were younger, you know? And that made me really sad.
Me too.
And she, like, really destroyed Pumpkin.
Yeah, she did.
She really did.
Yeah.
And because it was like she never
did.
properly taught, she
Yeah.
never properly taught Pumpkin about Geisha, and you know, it made me really, really sad for Pumpkin.
Me too, especially when it was like they were giggling and talking together and like practicing, and Hatsumomo comes in and just they're not allowed to speak to each other anymore.
Yeah.
And that was the worst.
Yeah.
And so when Pumpkin ultimately betrays her, it came as a shock to me.
It did.
Kinda. I mean, kinda.
Kinda.
The way she was acting after they reunited was really weird, and she was like standoffish and kind of short with her, and like Pumpkin didn't trust Sayuri, and it was just like.
Well, and the
weird.
comment that she made when Sayuri had went to her for help, and she was like, "Oh, it's, you know, Pumpkin's help is needed again," or whatever she said. I was like, "Ooh, you know,
like this is not good."
Well, I guess that could lead us into talking about the chairman and Nobu.
Okay, at first I was all for the chairman. She meets him and she has this resolve, and she wants to do the thing.
Be a geisha?
She wants to be a geisha.
Do the thing.
And she goes and she prays about it, and then Mameha comes in and she's like, I'll take her on. And so she's like, this is it, this is my chance, and the gods are answering my prayers or whatever. And
the whole time she's training, all she thinks about is entertaining the chairman. Like that's what keeps her going. It's the chairman.
And that's like her breakthrough when she's dancing too, is like thinking about like how sad she is that she's not with him or whatever. Is that what
I think she thought about Nobu possibly being her Donna. And
like how she could
just
be
got
with the
like
chairman.
the really heavy feeling,
Yes.
and then her movements, you know,
Yes.
and that
Love
was
that scene.
I did too.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
It's just okay. All right. So we understand the chairman, and I was all for him as well. And then years go by, and he never ever showed the slightest interest in her whatsoever.
No.
Never.
No.
And you have Nobu, who is his business partner, and they've stated before that business partners don't go for the same geisha.
Right.
You know, they just don't.
And if one's had a geisha, then she's off limits to the other business partners.
And so it's like with Nobu and
Nobu's a good guy, and he is. But I don't think she can make her happy.
He's temperamental.
He is.
And I liked Nobu. I did.
But at some point we felt like, just go with Nobu.
Just like give up the chairman already. It had
Yes.
been so long, and even Mameha had said to her, you know, like, what did you expect? You know, like,
geisha life to be.
Yeah. And so we were just kind of like, every time she would do something and try and get closer to the chairman, we were like, oh my gosh,
and
stop
especially when
already.
this whole thing could have been saved with a little communication, just a little bit, like, hey Mameha, I like the chairman, or hey chairman, do you remember me? Because I remember you.
Yeah.
We met that one time. I was little, but now I'm older and I'm a geisha, and it's all because of you, and I'm in love with you. Maybe. Let's back up for a second. We'll come back to the chairman at the end, I think. When Sayuri becomes Sayuri, I just remember us being so genuinely excited for her.
Yeah.
And like, finally, and this is it, you know. And I hope that she felt pride in what she was doing. And I don't know, because it was like it's a hard life, but she was very privileged in being able to do it. And
especially in the Depression.
Yeah, because
and they talked about that.
Yeah, like going to the next town over, and
people living in the streets by the river, and you know, I think she did say that once or twice, was that she didn't realize how lucky or like privileged that she was to be in that situation. So Mameha and her plan, I did not see that going that way.
Right.
As far as like to sell her massage and get her in a competition with Dr. Crab and Nobu. And okay, you guys, how awful and creepy and crazy is Dr. Crab to keep the vials with everybody's name and their cloth with their blood on it? Like, that's just
and to make it worse,
that's a different level of wrong there. Yeah, it was really gross. And she was like, afterwards, she was like, that wasn't so bad. And I'm like, oh.
and like her name was spelled wrong on the bottle.
Yeah. He had the one from the cut on her leg. So I know Nicole especially was like really disappointed that, because we were like, I was like, I love Mameha, I trust her, you know, and then that happened, and Nicole was like, I had a weird feeling that, you know, something was gonna happen, and yeah, it was.
And I wasn't even disappointed in Mameha that was her plan,
right?
Because that's what she had done.
Well, yeah, because Dr. Crab had hers as well.
Yeah, so it was like, that's just like the system that you're put through. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. Right. That particular ceremony was made illegal in like 59 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So that's not something that they do anymore.
But back then it was just like, that's what every geisha went through.
Right.
And that's just what they did.
Is sell their virginity. Auction it off.
Yeah, so I liked Nobu for a really long time though. And the more the book went on, kind of the less I liked him. And he would have been a good guy and like taking care of her and provided for her and gave her money and everything. But his temperament was just like really off-putting. Yes. Especially when he was like asking her like, you would have slept with the general if I asked you to, and she was like, everything you've done for me, like how I wouldn't be able to turn that down lightly, you know. And
I have to take anything that you ask me to do, I have to consider it.
Yeah, and he was so angry about that. Yes. And I was like, whoa, dude.
Yes.
He was like, oh.
So when Pumpkin brings the chairman instead of Nobu to come in on them as they were.
Well, and I didn't think she was going to go through with it because she was so back and forth, and I kept going, oh my gosh, she's not going to do it. And then she's like, I set my resolve, I'm going to do it. And I was like, no!
Was he the minister? Is that what he was called? The minister?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And he had like,
that scene was, I really felt like sick.
His gut drool.
The only other scene that made me feel like as physically sicker was at the Baron's party when he undressed her, and I was like really feeling queasy when I was reading that, and I was like, that's but yeah, the minister and the squid guts and the and we were all so disappointed that she did that.
Yeah, we were.
That was the point where we were like, you know, like that's the worst I've ever disliked or been disappointed in a protagonist.
Me too.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was so mad.
I was mad too.
When Pumpkin brought the chairman, I wasn't entirely surprised. But honestly, I expected her to bring like everyone that was there. You know?
That would have been so
like, hey everybody, let's go to the old theater. You know? And it was just like, but my heart dropped.
Yeah, when it was the chairman. Me too.
And I was like, this is it. Her life is over.
Yeah.
And it was so close to the end of the book. I was like, where does this go? Like, how?
How do you come back from this?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And it was like, in the next chapter, everything was fixed. And it was kind of like a 180.
You didn't really have any time to, like, process the emotions from the previous chapter because it was like, I love you too. And then they were kissing. And it was like,
good.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. That's how I felt, yeah. I'm glad it worked out, but it was just like, it felt like it took, I mean, it did. It took the entire book to get there, and by that time, I was already over the chairman and ready for her to move on.
I was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the movie.
I am too. We definitely want to watch it.
Yes.
The ending, I wish they wouldn't have, I felt it was a little rushed.
The epilogue?
Yeah, as far as like her moving to New York and having a son but not having a son, but she had a son. And I kind of wanted, because it was just like, oh yeah, he loves me too. And then we did a ceremony, he became a Donna, and then I traveled to the United States with him, and then I convinced him to let me live there, and then I opened a tea house, and ta-da. You know, and I wanted just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I can understand that, yeah. I think, I like how they did that. I think it was very epilogue-ish.
Yeah.
And her story was her life as being a geisha, and when she got with the chairman, she stopped being a geisha so that she could be with him. Yeah. And I was a little disappointed in that she had to quit being a geisha just because nobody was going to be around.
I know, and she even said that with, like, you know, when she still lived at the Okia and then watching the geisha like rush off to their other stuff, and like, even though, you know, it wasn't exactly what she wanted in life, but like to watch everyone else do that, like I could really like, oh yeah, you know, when I read that part, I was like putting myself in her shoes, and I was like, I'd be really sad to be stuck up in the house all day, all the time, you know, and watching everybody else go to parties, and had to give up all of her friends and the gentlemen that she'd got to know. I was a little sad about that.
I agree.
There's a lot more that we could touch on, but it's just, there's so much, you know. But overall, again, 5 stars. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
It was a good book, especially the first half.
3/4 of it.
Yeah. Before it becomes about, you know, her virginity and...
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the book was taken up a little too much by that whole bit. So... But
we definitely have plans to read Geisha: A Life.
That's right.
By one of the geisha that he actually interviewed for a background a lot on. And yeah, we have plans to buddy read that with Nicole again in September, and I'm really looking forward to that too.
I am too. This book definitely made me want to learn more about Japanese culture and geisha life.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay. Well,
that's it. If you've read this book, let us know how you felt about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you play the game of tomes,
you read or you die.
Come be our friends. Our social media links will be in the description below.
And we hope you're reading a great book.
Bye.
Bye.